Good afternoon everyone, this week we'll be looking at the final piece of the legendary Knight's Edge. But first I've got to note that over 80% of you haven't actually signed up for course updates, so please subscribe so you know when there's a lecture available, and maybe you'll actually manage to pass this semester. Anyway, let's get on with it. Today we're looking at the Blood Butcherer. The Blood Butcherer is a lengthy greatsword derived from Crimtane ore found throughout the underground in small amounts, but primarily within the Crimson, more specifically held by the Iron Brain of Cthulhu. It is one of the swords required to forge the Knight's Edge, but can be used interchangeably with the Light's Bane, and is considered to be the slower, more damaging counterpart to that blade. Similarly to the Light's Bane, there is nothing really to distinguish this sword from the myriad of other blades available to find and craft, with it lacking the ability to inflict any form of status effect. Its standout feature is probably the relatively high damage it's able to inflict. However, given that a powerful creature such as the Iron Brain of Cthulhu must be defeated before enough Crimtane ore can be obtained to forge the weapon, it is highly likely that a weapon of comparable strength has already been sourced. Unlike the Light's Bane, which bears some resemblance to the Knight's Edge, and may actually introduce the darkness its name implies, the Blood Butcherer does not appear to fit the blade's overall aesthetic, and may introduce this corrupt essence in a different way. Given that the Crimson seems to be derived from the blood of Cthulhu, many consider Crimtane ore to be slivers of his flesh, and when arranged into weapons such as the Blood Butcherer, any who wield them become an extension of the Elder God's fallen body, and possibly even his will. Given this fact, it could be that the corrupting power of the Crimson may even be more potent than the corruption itself, or at least more insidious. Given this fact, it's very unlikely that the champion of Terraria was the first to learn how to mould the flesh of the fallen god into tools, and some suspect that at one point the cerebral mastermind taught the abominations it birthed to craft and wield the bloody weapons. It would appear at some point though that it ceased this practice, forcing the face monster and other assorted aberrations to fall back on their own strength. It would seem as though some of these creations still reside deep within the Crimson chasms, possibly relics from a bygone age, although as of yet, a Blood Butcherer has never been recovered from such places. Given the presumed fleshy nature of the Crimtane ore, however, it could be that forging Crimson weapons to any sort of standard is extremely difficult. This would indicate that the Crimson altar may contain some form of template that allows for the creation of a weapon compatible with the Knight's Edge. In what form these templates may take, or even how the Crimtane ore is transmuted into a blade, is currently unknown. Given that putting together one of these swords is effectively piecing together a meat popsicle with a sharp edge, I'm not entirely sure I want to know how the altar manages to do it. Despite the frankly horrific nature of this blade, they become extremely easy to forge once you know how, so the Blood Butcherer has been given an artifact rating of merely noteworthy. These items that don't exactly have a lot known about them are really starting to bug me, because fun as it is to speculate, I'd like just once in a while to have some hard evidence. Anyway, like I said at the top, be sure to subscribe for more course content and support the lecture series on Patreon if your wallet's feeling a little too heavy. Be sure not to play with any sharp meat sticks, and I will see you next week.